Is up, everyone, and welcome in to your Celtics source, where the Celtics are indeed down 2-0. But that's not where we're going to start today. We're going to start with the Minnesota Golden State series, where Steph Curry went down with the hamstring. Both the Pacers Cavs series and the Warriors Timberwolves series, both impacted by major injuries on um, for the Cavs, their top three players. For the Warriors, right now it's just Steph Curry, but who knows? Um, we'll start with the Steph Curry, right? Hamstring strain. That's hard to recover from in 2 to 3 weeks. By the time that happens, it could be game five, game six, even. Um, the Warriors are gonna have to find a way to survive until then. They won this game because of Steve Kerr's basically elite coaching. Right, I think he's a top two coach in the league, behind only Eric Spoelstra of the Miami Heat. Uh, Draymond Green, another reason why they won this game. Just elite defense, one of, if not the best defender of this era. Um, the Golden State's defense contrasts very sharply with the Lakers' defense, which the Wolves faced in round one. Right, they pressure the ball with quick defenders. Gary Payton II, Moses Moody, Buddy Hield, they all get up into guys like Anthony Edwards into their handle, make it really hard for them to get any shots off consistently that are like good shots that are not rushed. Right, the Lakers, they're too big, they're too slow footed to do this. The Warriors, they disrupted the Wolves' entire rhythm with some of these quick, stunt and recover type of plays. Um, they, I mean, the Warriors held the Wolves to 31 points in the first half. That's what clearly won this game because while there were some guys on the Warriors that had good shooting nights, mostly it was a team win, and they basically didn't get much offense. They had to rely on their defense to get this win. And this was a huge win because now you're up 1-0 and you buy just another game for Steph to return. Um, on the offensive side of the ball, Draymond Green hitting four threes is unpredictable and huge for this team because nobody's guarding him. So if he is going to make four shots, that could basically kill the Wolves' entire defensive plan because now they have to come out and guard, and now you can spread the ball out and make them move. No, it's hard to win when a non-shooter like Draymond Green does that. Minnesota struggled with Golden State's ball movement as well. They were not prepared for the off-ball movement of not just Steph Curry in the first half, but guys like Buddy Hield, guys like Pajemski, moving without the ball, making it really hard for guys like Julius Randle, Rudy Gobert, who have trouble, staying with guys to follow them all the way around the court. The Lakers, they play with a much, more slower pace, more static offense where the ball is in Luka's hands and he's making everything happen. The Warriors don't play like that. They get the ball moving around to everyone. Everyone touches the ball on almost every possession. Well, this caused multiple breakdowns, rebounding problems for Minnesota. Um, you know, the Warriors had lots of offensive rebounds despite being undersized. They had 18 boards to be exact. Julius Randle, I talked about earlier, he was great in round one. Uh, Finding ways to score, not getting, blown apart by Luka Doncic. But, in this game, he had trouble with, the responsibilities of playing both ends of the floor and was forced into a lot of bad decisions, a lot of bad shots. Anthony Edwards, he adjusted. He improved in the second half, figuring out how to finish at the rim when his shots aren't falling. Um, the Warriors, you get lots of contributions from role players, like I said. Jonathan Kuminga, Gary Payton, Pat Spencer made some timely plays. The lacrosse player, Buddy Hield continues to shoot lights out. Just a team win. I quickly do want to touch on Curry's injury before we move on to the other series. Uh, right, this injury, every game's going to be a grind for the Warriors. They'll be lucky to get, you know, another win and buy even more time for Steph to return. It's pretty unlikely that they're going to win this series, even with their great game one, because I think the Wolves are just going to adjust. And when it comes down to crunch time, the Wolves have Anthony Edwards, and yes, the Warriors do have Jimmy Butler, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Um, you know, if if Steph can rest to Game Five, that allows up to 12 days for him to return. Um, possibly Game Six at home if the series can get to that. Um, Steph could also catch them off guard if they come back. And the Wolves are not prepared for that kind of to play that kind of defense. You could steal a game there with Steph on the court. Um, you know, the Warriors are going to continue to play solid defense, but I think just they won't have quite enough offense. All right, Pacers, Cavs. Um, Indiana, you know, plays with nonstop pressure. Right, they push in transition, they crash the boards, they hunt mismatches. Even on some like made baskets, they almost beat the entire Cavs lineup down the floor, and just scored easy points when they were digging the ball out of the basket on their own end. I mean, that just can't happen, right? And it was a quiet start from Tyrese Haliburton too, right? Obviously, he took over late, had some unbelievable shots. That game winner as well, just a crazy shot, which he's, you know, becoming one of the best clutch players in the league. He's actually a 10 for 11 on shots to tie or take the lead in the final 2 minutes of a game this season. I think he should have won Clutch Player of the Year, to be honest. But he hasn't been the only one that's provide great scoring for and just great basically hustle for the Pacers. Aaron Neesmith, his defensive presence, key offensive rebounds, you know, shifted the momentum in the fourth quarter. He wore down Donovan Mitchell by making him work on defense to box out, and that made it hard for Donovan Mitchell when it came winning time to make the plays necessary to basically get his undermanned team over the hump. Like the Cavs had a 20-point lead, and it just you know in a matter of minutes fell apart. And I mean, we know one team that's had a struggle with that as well, which we'll talk about later. Um, Ben Mathurin attacked the rim with success. Miles Turner was as well in effective short roll spacing. Not he knocked down some 3 pointers as well. As for Cleveland, it's going to be hard to win with injuries to Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter. Three of their top 5 players. Obviously, the Pacers are going to win when those 3 guys are down, but not the way they did it. Right? The Cavs took early leads, but they just couldn't sustain that focus or intensity. Um, Fans were, overconfident. I think this played a part of it. Them chanting, overrated to Tyrese Haliburton, and that backfired spectacularly. I mean, Tyrese Haliburton, when he started hearing those, just went on a roll. Uh, Ty Jerome, he has to step up when you're missing those three guys. And he was one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA this season, and you know especially in that short float game, uh, hitting floaters. That's his specialty, and he's shooting just 5 of 16 in this series. Um, after a hot start, uh, they only managed 21 points in the final quarter. Indiana's defense, particularly from Miles Turner, just shut them down. The Pacers' defense uh, in these playoffs has been incredible, right? They're not known for their defense. They're known for a high-powered offense that struggles sometimes on defense. But they have turned it up to another notch, and it's been fun to watch. Um, the Cavs are not going to win this series. Not with those 3 guys out. There's not a chance, right? Even at full strength, Indiana was going to give them a run for their money. I quickly want to talk about the Thunder Nuggets series before we have to talk about yet another Celtics collapse. But first, I want to tell you to follow me on social media. It would be nice if you could give me a like, subscribe. We'll be all here all playoffs long, covering the Celtics and other games around the league. Hopefully, big game for the Celtics Saturday, a must win, which we'll talk about in just a second. All right, Nuggets, Thunder. Nikola Jokic, spectacular in Game 1. Aaron Gordon continues to be miraculous on these game winners, these buzzer beaters. Just crazy. The dunk he had and then the 3-pointer in Game 1. Yeah, SGA and the Thunder, they had the answers in Game 2 because they won by 43. An almost perfect night from SGA as well. 11 of 13 on field goals, 11 for 11 on free throws as well. Even pretty even scoring from the rest of the starters as well between the Thunder. So Shea did his part, and then you get contributions from the rest of your starters. Jokic was inefficient in Game 2, and nobody else stepped up either, right? You got the performance that you needed in Game 1, but this is more how I think we expected it to go, with terrible defense from the Nuggets and just no consistent scoring from anyone else besides Jokic, who was inefficient, as I said tonight. Okay, now for the Celtics. Brunson continues to be incredible down the stretch. Tatum continues to struggle down the stretch. Overall, the Celtics are shooting 25 for 100 on 3-pointers, and they're all open looks. There is nothing bad about, they took 20 less 3-pointers than they did in Game 1, and they're open. There were some plays down the stretch where it looked like the Celtics were hesitant to take shots. Even with them wide open, they couldn't get into the paint. Nothing was going down for the Celtics. If they shoot 3 of these, it's not even a close game. They shoot 3 more. I don't know what's going on. Mikal Bridges provides nothing and then gets 2 big steals in the final seconds of the game. In both games. Kristaps Porzingis does not show up in either game. What is going on? I'm going to do a full, I think, Game 2 deep dive and preview for Game 3. Probably sometime tomorrow night. It might be a late one, as I have a little party to go to before. So it might be around 12 p.m. You can watch it in the morning or whatever. A little late night, midnight time, or 12 a.m. midnight show. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Follow on social media. And until next time, hopefully the Celtics can win these 2 games in New York and go back the series tied 2-2.
It's over. Time to say it again, Boston. Anything's possible. Banner number 18 has been secured.